The Chicago Bulls get their second win in a row against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Two double-digit wins at that, winning this game by 11 points, 136 to 125. We're going to talk about it all and more right after this. What's going on, Bulls fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bulls Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related. I'm the host there, Haize, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Bulls Central Pod on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that said, let's go ahead and get into this content today, y'all. The Chicago Bulls got a dub, man. That is the most important thing here. The Chicago Bulls found a way to get a win in this game and came out with some good energy once again. Now, everything wasn't seamless for the Chicago Bulls. They did have some moments. They started off this game terribly, did the Chicago Bulls, in this game, going down by, I think, 11 points to start off. Billy Donovan calls a timeout. The Bulls start regrouping. And then once the Chicago Bulls started scoring, they got that lead down relatively quick. They started building a lead all of their own. And then it just started snowballing. Now, the Cavs, of course, got back into this game like you expect to do. The Bulls don't hold on to leads outright. The Cavs did get back into this game. They got the lead. They actually took over the lead briefly. I think it was 89-86 when the Cavs took over the lead, if I'm not mistaken. But the Bulls came back. They battled. They didn't give up. And they eventually were able to still win this game, man. And this was the type of game that you want. Once again, the Chicago Bulls having a number of players in double figures, 7 players in double figures yet again for the Chicago Bulls. It seems to start being the sweet spot for this team. And I know that's not like easily sustainable, having that many players score in double figures, but as long as the Bulls can do it, they're going to win some basketball games, man. And that's just what you like to see in this one, man. The Bulls continue to just ball out, play really tough in this one. Buzelis had a good scoring night as well. And when you have that type of play from your team, man, you're able to get it done. And that's just what it comes down to for this team. In this game, they were led in scoring by Nikola Vucevic and Buzelis. Modest had 24 points on only 15 shots. And this was the game where Modest looked the most like himself that he looked early in the season, where he was scoring really well. That 9 to 15 mark was really good. He was 2 of 8 from the three-point line. So when you take that out, Modest basically made every single one of his 2-pointers because he was cutting and slashing to the rim. He didn't leave a lot up to question there. He was getting very active. He also had 5 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. That's a really good stat line for Buzelis. And this is how he can always impact the game. Modest can impact the game by doing this type of stuff. And it just comes down to activity for him and energy. Modest needs to continually cut. Do not continue to settle for bad 3-pointers. If you can keep Modest from doing that, man, that's where he's going to have the opportunity to be this level of player from him, man. We know how Modest is, and we know where Modest's strengths are. Shout out to Billy Donovan. I'm not Billy Donovan. Shout out to Brandon L. Jet. Says, congrats on hitting 27,000 subs. We're on the way to 50K, man. Listen, I don't know how I'm going to act when we get to 50K, if we ever get there. So that's the game for Buzelis. Really good game for Modest, and he's had the energy early on. I think he scored the Bulls' first 5 points in this game after getting down to that early deficit against the Cleveland Cavaliers, and Modest's energy was very well felt throughout this game. He had some moments still of some questionable defense and things like that, but overall, Modest had himself a really good game. Nikola Vucevic, 24 points, 15 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks from Nikola Vucevic. We even got to see Nikola Vucevic do the Dikembe Mutombo finger wave after getting a block. Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are, Vuce? But major game from Nikola Vucevic. He's now had 2 really good bounce-back games, and it's almost like somebody told Vuce, hey, if you want to get out of here, you got to play well. If you're not going to play well, you're going to be stuck like Chuck. And so Vuce is really playing a lot better. We know that Billy Donovan has talked to Nikola Vucevic about, just his place in the team and kind of his mood and stuff like that. And hopefully that goes a way in helping Nikola Vucevic kind of wake up some as this season goes on, because listen, when Vuce plays like this, it's good. He was 11 of 20 today. A lot of his shots were, of course, assisted. Him and Josh Giddey have a really good chemistry. And yeah, good Vooch today. We got a combined 30 points from our backcourt today. So not the 48 points that we had in the last game, but we got combined 48 from Nikola Vucevic and Miles Buzelis. But Kobe White had 13 points. He was 5 of 13 from the field, 1 of 6 from the 3-point line. He only got to the free throw line twice, but 9 assists, 6 rebounds. He did have 3 turnovers from Kobe White, but take that for what you will from Kobe. This was not a great Kobe White game at all, not like the last one. And he tried to get a good. He hit some tough shots down the stretch, getting to the paint, stuff like that. But I feel like Kobe settled for the 3 too much, too early in this game, and it threw off his rhythm. Josh Giddey was 7 of 15 from the field with 17 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals. 1 steal and 2 turnovers. So solid production as well from Josh Giddey. Isaac Okoro in that starting lineup, the only starter not to score in double figures. I don't think that's really surprising. He only took 3 shots. He was 1 of 3 from the field. 3 steals, 2 rebounds from Isaac Okoro. And then the bench unit. Once again, our bench unit continues to be a bright spot now that it's fully healthy. The Chicago Bulls overall score 55 points off the bench today. And it's a needed part of it for this Chicago Bulls team. You get 14 points from Kevin Huerter. Really good to see from that. He was 6 of 12 from the field with 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals. You got 16 points from Trey Jones. He was 5 of 7, 16 points off 7 shots. He got to the free throw line 4 times, also had 6 assists and 2 steals as well. Ayo Dosunmu, only 14 minutes played in his first game back. He had 8 points, but again, only 14 minutes played for Ayo. He made some important plays out there, 3 assists as well, but not kind of the game that we've started to associate with Ayo coming off that bench. Zach Collins had 13 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists in this game also. So that's your Chicago Bulls for tonight. This was another team effort, and this was this team locking in and playing the way that they need to play. And that's just it. This team played basketball the way that they needed to play. And you now have 2 games in a row of that. And that feels good. There's still going to be people who don't trust the Chicago Bulls and the energy, and I can't blame you, right? But we knew the thing that we asked for the Chicago Bulls is, could you at least go 3-1 over this 4? This 2-game series against the Cavs, and you got 2 games against the Atlanta Hawks coming up next. I wanted to see the Bulls at least go 3-1, right? Win the week. They've now already got 2 of those wins. Can you get 1 or 2 more wins against the Atlanta Hawks? If you do that, now you're streaking, right? Now you're on a 4-game losing streak. Now, we got 1 game. Let's get to the game on Sunday first and see what the Chicago Bulls are going to do. But for what it's worth, this Bulls team played really well, and got to give them credit for how they played today. I love seeing this team perform in this manner. And again, total team effort. When you look at all the hustle stats, they did lose points in the paint, 62-58. But we won second chance points. We won fast break points. We had 20 fast break points to only 7 for the Cleveland Cavaliers. 55 bench points compared to 49. And we had 21 points off turnovers compared to their 14. Now, this was a win without Donovan Mitchell. So take that for what you will. There's going to be a lot of people that don't feel as confidently about this one as they did the other night because Donovan Mitchell did play in this game. But the stat sheet was, it's odd how similar this game was for the Chicago Bulls compared to last game. 52% from the field, 38% from 3, 80% from the free throw line. They also out-rebounded the Cleveland Cavaliers by only 2 in this game, which take that for what you will. We had 5 block shots and 12 steals. I mean, getting active, giving effort out there, playing together. This team is starting to see that. And this was the first time this season everybody was available for the Chicago Bulls, except Noah Essengay, of course, who wouldn't have been playing anyway. But just to get those guys, man, it's crazy. So overall, the Bulls get their 2nd win in a row against a tough opponent, albeit an opponent that was missing Evan Mobley and Donovan Mitchell in this game. Darius Garland did his best to lead this team in scoring. He had 35 points in this game. Donovan Mitchell, I think in the last game, had 31, but he had 35 points. Tyrese Proctor had 16. Jared Allen had 14 points, 12 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, and a block. Shout out to that stat line. And then you had Naquan Tomlin had 15 points off the bench. Thomas Bryant had 11, and DeAndre Hunter had 11 as well for the Cleveland Cavaliers. They shot 48% from the field and 36% from 3. So their even shooting percentages were very near what they were in the last game also. It was 2 very similar games. And I know that it's the same opponents, but typically games kind of have their own identity down to the run. Like everything kind of felt the same. Like if you look at it, the Cavs got out to 11-0 run. The Bulls then got on a 16-4 run. They had the lead by 1 point at that point. The Cavs got a 7-0 run, then a 4-3 run, and the Chicago Bulls finished the first quarter on a 13-6 run to end the quarter tied 32-32. And it really did seem like the Bulls had that focused effort of, let's just get this back even, and then it starts a new frame. And then they came out in that second quarter after the Cavs go on a 3-4 run. They got on an 8-2 run, finished it with a 15-5 run in the second half of that game, and they go into the half up by 11. So, a solid coaching night. Billy Donovan using double bigs early. We got to see Zach Collins with Vooch. We got to see some of Jalen with Vooch. We saw some of Zach Collins with Jalen Smith as well. And then we saw something that we haven't seen. Keep in mind, somebody correct me if I'm wrong here. I don't know how many times, if ever, we saw this other Billy Donovan. We saw a lineup with Coby White and 4 forwards. It was Coby White out there. It was Coby, Patrick Williams, Modest Buzelis, Jalen Smith, and Zach Collins. And I want to see what that lineup did and how long they played it. Give me a second. I'm going to look up that lineup because I was so taken aback by the fact that Billy Donovan even played a lineup like that, because that's just not really – Billy Donovan doesn't like size. Wow, that's a pause. Billy Donovan's typically not a coach that plays a bunch of size out there. So it was just interesting to see that being the lineup that was out there. And like I said, shout out to Billy Donovan for trying something different. Let me make sure I got the right lineup out. Maybe it wasn't Zach Collins. Was it Nikola Vucevic? It might have been Vooch. Hold on, let's change it. Vooch. Let's take off Zach. Let's put on Jalen. Okay, so I was wrong. The lineup was Coby White, Patrick Williams, Modest Buzelis, Nikola Vucevic, and Jalen Smith. That lineup played 3.5 minutes together. They were +5, +71 net rating, an offensive rating of 157, and a defensive rating of 85. Small sample size there, not a whole lot of them, but you got to see just a unique lineup from Billy Donovan, one that I think a lot of Bulls fans will tell you they probably didn't expect Billy Donovan to play a lineup like that. That just does not seem like a Billy Donovan lineup. Instead of doubling down with 4 guards, you went 3 forwards and 1 center. That's a hell of a lineup for Billy Donovan, man. I'm just not used to seeing him do that. A quadruple big lineup on this team, also known as a normal size team. P. Will is the worst contract in the league. He's definitely not the worst contract in the league. At $18 million, he can't be the worst contract in the league. Just period. He can't be the worst contract in the league. Slow night for Coby, but he did the heavy lifting 2 nights ago. Exactly. And you kind of expect that, right? Just like, no Donovan Mitchell in this game, but Darius Garland had a pretty pedestrian game in the first game. He came out with 35 today. That's the point of a team. You want to share the heavy lifting. That's what you need to do. Yeah, that one lineup with Coby at point guard, Modest at shooting guard, Smith at small forward, and Vooch. I didn't expect a lineup like that from Billy. Well, I think Modest was at small forward for sure. Modest was probably at shooting guard, but yeah, man, that was a wild lineup. It was definitely a wild lineup. Hey, it's called me nitpicky, but we really need to learn how to hold on to leads better. Good win, though. Listen, it is what it is, man. I'm just going to tell you, it is what it is. That's just what you can do. Billy, keep running double big. It hides the weakness of Vooch. It hides a lot. It helps you with your rebounding problem, right? We've seen the Chicago Bulls have a huge rebounding problem on the season. It helps with that, and we saw that in that time period as well. Does it show? I don't know if it shows me the rebound percentage. Yeah, it doesn't give me rebounding percentage with those lineups out there. But it feels like they got a lot of rebounds in that one, got some extra opportunities, so that's good. Billy stopped depending on advanced analytics and leaned on situational awareness. No, he's still looking at advanced analytics because he played that lineup for the rebounding. And so when you look at the typical rebounding rate of having double bigs out there, that's what you do. Don't know why he don't like size when the only time he won was with Joakim Noah and Horford. Well, that's not. He won a lot of games. Now, if you're talking about the only time he won a title, but he won a lot of games at Florida and got to the tournament a lot. 9 minutes only for P. Will. Too many players need minutes, especially Io, Trey, Zach. Time to trade Coby, Vooch, P. Will. They're not doing that. They're definitely not going to trade Coby to get minutes for anybody else. Y'all Y'all came into the season thinking that they need to trade Kobe. You keep trying to asshole at yourself backwards into a conversation there. It's stupid. Like, it's really dumb. How many wins do we need to see out of this team before we have faith again? I'd say they have to get 5 over 500. I mean, listen, I don't know what faith in what. Like, if this team rattles off 8 wins in a row, like, I mean, you got to kind of believe it depending on who the opponents are. But at this point, like, it's not that I don't think there are some, right? But I don't think many Bulls fans doubt that this team is going to be able to win some basketball games. That's not the question. The question is about consistency, right? Even if the Bulls were to get 5 games above 500, I don't know if I trust them to be able to stay there. They may lose the next 5 after that. So it's until this team consistently gives effort, you're going to kind of always have that question about this team. That's just my personal opinion. I don't think that changes based off any amount above 500. This team's going to have to work its ass off and show that they can stay working their ass off if they want this fan base to believe in them. And I can't blame any fans for feeling that way. Seeing Vooch and Collins out there at the same time had me shocked. Yeah, that was crazy. NBA teams make runs. You knew it was coming. Cavs are not bums. They're just undermanned. You knew that Cavs weren't going to get blown out in their house. Yeah, I mean, listen, this is a Cavs team that lost to the Hornets. They lost 2 games to the Bulls. Really definitely shook up some of the lineups tonight and either packed with guards or packed with bigs. Interesting to watch. I mean, Billy Donovan's trying to play like he's trying to figure out a way. There is a lot of players on this team that deserve minutes, right? There are a lot of players on this team, a lot of different matchups that you can use. And it's good to see Billy Donovan finally starting to exploit some of those very unique situational lineups, right? Like, those are lineups you're going to look at in certain situations. Cleveland got clapped twice. Issues, as always, one of the youngest teams in the league. Sometimes patience is all you need, maybe. Do what works every game. This is what Billy should have been doing always. The Bulls should make other teams adjust to their lineups, not the other way around. I mean, yeah. I mean, when you have something that you can exploit, you want to do that. You always want to try to make the other coach adjust to you. Now, the problem is that the Bulls, I don't know if they're going to be consistent enough to where we can always force the other teams to adjust to us. But the good thing is that even if you do have to adjust to the other team, you still have all those different lineups that you can use, all those different looks that you can throw out now that everybody's healthy. And it's just about Billy Donovan finding and understanding what the right tool is to pull out at any given time. So hopefully that comes with time with this team, and they with everybody being back healthy and just learning how the ebbs and flows, is that we just see a better utilization of the talent that we have here. And if we do, it's going to help this team quite a bit. Haize, I'm happy to see Vooch is playing well, but I still think we need to trade him while he's good right now. Just my opinion. Well, the problem is there's not going to be a lot of teams in the NBA that look at 2 games for Nikola Vucevic and say, "I'll bet he's back. Let's trade for him." So he's going to be a lot more. But I mean, if he is playing good by the trade deadline, yeah, take advantage of it for sure. Hope nobody being traded next year. They're starting to build chemistry. See, hot take: if the Bulls play like this every game we lost, we'd be in the top 5 seeds in the East. Oh, facts. If the Bulls never lost the energy that they play with, they absolutely would be in there. There is a level of production per money on contract that P. Will isn't living up to. Yeah, it's 18 million, but I saw someone make a chart that showed he was towards the bottom, if not last, on that list. Listen, I hear about all that points per. I don't give a fuck about that, because even if a player's scoring 13 points on a $30 million contract, that's still worse than P. Will, because that means the expectation was higher than P. Will. So, like, I get it, 18 million. I don't think the expectation, even when they gave P. Will that deal, was like, oh, boom, you're going to be one of our top 3 players. That's just not what that money is. So even if a player's making $25 to $30 million and putting up 12.5 points, whereas P. Will is putting up 6, to me, just my own personal value, that's still a worse value than that, because chances are, if you pay that player $30 million, you're expecting him to be a quality starter for yourself. So that's just the way that I view it. I get what you're saying. I'm sure there's some analytic that points out and can make P. Will the worst contract in the league. But for me, I look at too many different factors. Haize, the effort has been a lot better, though. From these past 2 games, the lineup versatility of the Bulls could be dangerous if the effort stays. That's the biggest if, bro. Like we know that this team has the chance to be a solid team. I'm not going to say great or anything like this, but they have the tools to be a very solid team, especially in the Eastern Conference. They just got to put it together more often, man. This is a team that beat Detroit, they beat Denver, they beat some really good teams on this year. You just got to unlock the consistency, and hopefully, health helps get you to that point of better consistency. That's the hope there. So, we'll see what happens. Not gonna count them out. And then, like I said, even at the time where I was at my lowest with this Bulls team this season, the fact is there's still enough time to technically turn it around. The Bulls now moved to 12 and 15 on the season, right? 12 and 15 on the season. They're still 3 games below 500, and we'll see how much more they can push it. I mean, we'll see. If they come out of this next 2 games against the Atlanta Hawks and can win both these games, and the Bulls now sit at 14 and 15, does that personally change how you look about the team? How you feel about the team? Does that change that? Modest finally took a made and stand midi. Praise be. Good revenge win. Payback for the Max Strus game. This is growth. That's funny. Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't know why as a team we don't take more mid-range shots. I think we're like if I'm not mistaken, when I looked at the sheet, I think we're like 6% of our shots on the season are in the mid-range. Yeah, I get it. The league as a whole is kind of moving on from the mid-range, but I still think with the team that we have, you probably want about a good 10 to 12% of your shots coming from the mid-range. But if you're attacking the basket, that's all that matters, right? So I'll say that. If they're going to continually attack the basket, that's really all that matters. The big test will be against the Hawks. The Hawks have a personnel to match against the Bulls lineup, especially with their crazy amount of wing defenders. It's going to be tough. It's definitely going to be a tough game. Man, I was so happy seeing Modest hoop. It gave me faith. There's been a lot of bad narratives about Modest Buzelis because he hasn't hit some predetermined uh, um, leap that people thought that he needed to make in year 2 at 21 years old. But games like this remind you how much potential is there for Modest Buzelis, and not just scoring the ball. The scoring the ball part is great. It's beautiful to see him cutting to the rim, finishing around the rim, those type of things, trying to take players off the dribble to get to the rim. But to me, like those 2 block shots that he had, on top of that, how he got switched on to Darius Garland, and he did an okay job at times. I'm not going to say he did great, but it wasn't terrible at times. Like, you got to think about it. If you can get a Modest Buzelis that's going to slash to the rim with his leaps and the way that he's going to be able to finish at the rim, you got a point guard in Josh Giddey who can get him the ball, so that's good. He's our best shot blocker. And then if you're talking about somebody who you can eventually trust, not yet, but eventually trust to guards 3s, 4s, and some guards if he gets switched on them, that's a great weapon. No matter how you want to look at it, no matter what the point output is, that is a versatile weapon for a team. He just has to be consistent in doing it. And if he is, I think things are going to look up for him. I'm a little bit late, but they keep shooting themselves out of the leads. They need to stop chucking up threes when they aren't falling. Shit is frustrating. You're preaching to the choir here, bro. You're very much so preaching to the choir. The Bulls took 47 3-pointers after taking 39, I believe, 37, something like that, against them in the first game. You don't need to be taking 43 pointers. Now, granted, you hit it at a 38% clip, which is above league average. So take a look at that. You were above average 3-point shooting in both volume and in efficiency. So that's good that you were that today. I just think that it's a dangerous game to play, to live and die by the 3-pointer, because you can die by the 3-pointer a lot more than you live by the 3-pointer in this NBA. And I think we've seen that a little bit. So, we've got to worry about it, but let's watch it. We'll trend it, and, we'll see what happens. What a game from Buzelis, man. I don't know if I can trust this energy and effort yet. Can't blame you. Can't blame you. Is Vooch expiring this season? I could see a team at the bottom of the playoff range that might take a trade just to hope he can hold up for 3 months, then let him walk. Yes, he is an expiring contract at the end of the year. The problem is that what we've seen over at least the last 2 trade deadlines is that expiring contracts don't hold the value that they once held. Where because to your point, there used to be a huge number of expiring contracts that were traded every year because players will look at it as like, hey, let's get a sneak peek at this player in our system with our team, and we have his bird rights, and we'll re-sign him at the end of the year. Or even if we have to go through free agency, we can offer him the most money. Now you're seeing teams, because of the second tax apron, they're just not doing that as much anymore. I'm not going to say it doesn't happen at all, but they're just not doing it as much. So Bradley Beal make $5 million per year. And that may be a worse value. I'm just playing. $5 million is a flash in the pan. I know, Haize, you are a big fan of Kobe lineup. Josh, Kobe, Okoro, Modest, new center, bench, Io, Trey, Herter, Jalen, Zach, buyout, Vooch, and P. Will. 10 men. Nigga, what? First of all, bro, I'm gonna tell you this. Shut up. I'm just gonna tell. Like you typed all that and didn't say shit. You really didn't say shit. I love you. Thank you for supporting the channel. I appreciate you. But that was stupid. Like that was objectively, that was dumb. That was dumb. With all these guys playing for their next contract, propel the Bulls past their expectations. It could be the future decision making. Going to be interesting to see how this plays out. I mean, and that's where this is the front office's job. The front office's job is to look at things because they have people that are in there every single day with this team, practicing, traveling with the team, and you have to make a real determination on, what did AK say? We are examining for long-term fit. How many of these motherfuckers do you see as a long-term fit? That's really what you got to ask. How many of these people do you see as long-term fits? And the ones that you don't see as a long-term fit, you got to move the hell on from. Like that's just the reality of it. If you don't see them as a long-term fit, why the hell are they still here? And so, AK talked about evaluations. Now go out there and make it. It's going to be tough. I'm not saying it's going to be an easy evaluation to make, but you got to find a way to evaluate that and hope that you get it right. Because if you do, it's going that's how you help improve your team. So we'll see. This is what I wanted to see. Modest take over and show out with Mobley out. Yeah, I mean, hey. Haize, can you speak of Tari? Why would I be speaking about Tari Eason, bro? What am I going to speak about Tari Eason for? If the Bulls want to take salary for a pick, Vooch expiring contract can take a team out the second apron. This is a good draft to have 2 picks in the first. Yeah, but here's the thing. I just don't see AK sacrificing the cap flexibility that he has even for a draft pick. And I could be wrong. And I'm not, and this isn't me saying your thought process is wrong, Lee. This is me saying that I just don't see AK sacrificing the cap flexibility because it's not easy to get this cap flexibility. And you're probably not going to have it again. So, honestly, if I'm AK and Billy, I'm telling Vooch to be injured for a week to see Collins and Smith as the center options. And then you will get fined, and then you will lose a pick. That's going to happen. If you tell a player to do something like that, that's what's going to happen there. Trey is a better defender, just that the Pelicans are asking him to score more. Yeah, Trey Murphy III is a really good defender. You look at it, and that's why you can't go look at defensive rating and stuff like that because the team's trash. His on-ball defensive numbers are really good. How he holds players to certain field goal shooting percentages. How he moves them out of spot. Trey Murphy is a really, really good defender. And I just think if he goes to the right situation, we'll see. I missed part of the first half. Did P. Will play? I don't think P. Will checked in at all in the first half, Deanna. Hold on. I'll tell you for sure. Give me 1 second. P. Will played 4 minutes and 53 seconds in the first half. And that came in, I can give you the quarter by quarter. That came in the fourth quarter. Now, I don't know when he checked in the fourth quarter, but P. Will's minutes, seemingly he's the odd man out with now this roster being fully healthy. Haize, what do you think is a reasonable trade offer for Trey Murphy? Ooh, man, I don't know, bro. I do think they're going to be asking for at least 2 first-round picks. But, yeah, I really don't know, man. Vooch need to be playing to build his value. Yeah, I mean, listen, here's the thing, and I get that, and that's a good thought. I want to be clear here. That is a good thought. But I think we got to remember teams have years and years worth of data. I don't know if they're looking at Nikola Vucevic and all of a sudden oh my God, if you play better in these 15 games before the trade deadline, we're going to drastically be that much more in on you. I don't know. It could be. I could just be wrong, but they could be. Trade P. Will to the Houston Comets. That is hilarious. Thanks for your read, Haize. Let's see how the record in the end of the season, if no trade happens and all healthy. I still think they end up playing again. I mean, and you could very well be right. You could very well be right. I'm not saying you're crazy for thinking that at all. Like that's not what I'm saying. I just watched Kenny Beecham's reaction to people being drafted today. Shit is hilarious. He said he didn't even start in college. It's funny. Everybody says that. But that's our time for today, y'all. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, man. Make sure you guys are following us at Bull Central Pod. You send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns. bullcentralpod@gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave a text message and or voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-270-2799. We are the number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related, but that is thanks to you, lovely and beautiful people. And like I like to end every episode on, go Bulls. Love you guys. See you right if you can, y'all. Peace.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.